The unexpected call for help. Captain Reynolds receives a distress signal. In the year 2356, humanity had evolved into a formidable spacefaring civilization, renowned and feared across the galaxy. The United Earth Federation, UEF, had established colonies on numerous worlds and maintained a powerful fleet of warships to safeguard its interests. Many alien races had either allied with or distanced themselves from the unpredictable humans, whose rapid expansion and technological prowess made them a significant force. Valerian crisis unfolds. Among these races were the Larians, known for their advanced bioengineering and peaceful way of life centered on a deep respect for all living things. Their home planet, Lanaris, was a lush, vibrant world teeming with life. However, this paradise had turned into a battlefield. The merciless Carnivorous, a warlike and technologically advanced species, had launched a brutal invasion. With no military to defend themselves, the Larians were helpless. A desperate plea for assistance. High Chancellor Era, the leader of the Larians, stood in the Grand Council chamber, her heart heavy with despair. She activated an ancient communication device, a relic from a time when the Larians believed in interstellar unity and cooperation. Her message, broadcast across the galaxy, was a heartfelt plea for help. Captain Reynolds takes action. The distress signal reached Captain Jonathan Reynolds of the HSS Resolute, a seasoned commander known for taking on impossible missions. Reynolds was renowned for his strategic brilliance and unwavering dedication to justice. His ship, the Resolute, was a state-of-the-art UEF battleship equipped with the latest human technology and crewed by some of the best minds in the fleet. The weight of a decision. Reynolds sat in his ready room, listening to the distress call from Lanaris on a loop. The desperation in Ira's voice was impossible to ignore. He knew the Carnivorous well, their reputation for brutality and conquest preceding them. The thought of the gentle Larians being eradicated stirred a deep sense of duty within him. Rallying the crew. After hours of contemplation, Reynolds summoned his senior officers. Commander Saul Vega, his trusted second-in-command, Lieutenant Aisha Patel, the brilliant chief engineer, Dr. Emily Carter, the ship's compassionate medical officer, and Lieutenant James Hunter, the tactical genius and ace pilot. They listened intently as Reynolds played the Larian message. The mission takes shape. We can't ignore this, Reynolds said firmly. The Larians are defenseless. If we don't help them, they'll be wiped out. Commander Vega nodded. But Captain, the Carnivorous are formidable. Engaging them directly could mean a significant risk to the Resolute and our crew. I know the risks, Reynolds replied, meeting their eyes. But this is about more than just a single mission. It's about standing up for those who can't defend themselves. Preparing for battle. The room fell silent as the weight of his words settled in. Each officer knew the stakes and the potential consequences, but shared Reynolds' sense of justice and duty. We're with you, Captain, Lieutenant Hunter said, breaking the silence. Let's show the Carnivorous what happens when they mess with the wrong species. With the decision made, preparations for the mission began immediately. The HSS Resolute, a sleek and powerful vessel, was a marvel of human engineering. Equipped with advanced weaponry, robust shields, and a hyperdrive capable of traversing vast distances in hours, the crew was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The journey begins. Captain Reynolds stood on the bridge, surveying the organized chaos as his crew worked with precision. Lieutenant Hunter, plot a course to the Larian system, Reynolds ordered. We need to get there as fast as possible. Aye, Captain, Hunter replied, his fingers flying over the controls. Course plotted and ready. We'll be in Larian space in 6 hours. Reynolds nodded, his mind already working through the myriad potential scenarios they might face upon arrival. He knew the Carnivorous would not be easily deterred, but he also knew that the element of surprise could be their greatest advantage. The calm before the storm. In the ship's armory, Lieutenant Patel oversaw the preparation of weapons and equipment. Her engineering expertise was crucial, ensuring that everything was in optimal condition for the upcoming battle. In the medical bay, Dr. Carter prepared for the inevitable influx of casualties, coordinating with her team to handle everything from minor injuries to critical trauma. Approaching Lanaris. As the Resolute neared the Larian system, the tension on the ship was palpable. The crew members, though seasoned and battle-hardened, felt the weight of their mission. They were not just fighting for their survival, but for the survival of an entire race. The battle begins. The ship emerged from hyperspace to a scene of devastation. Lanaris, once a beautiful and vibrant planet, was scarred and burning. The Karax fleet loomed ominously in orbit, their massive ships bristling with weaponry. The Resolute's sensors detected numerous distress signals from the planet's surface, each one a cry for help. Taking command, activate battle stations, Reynolds commanded, his voice steady. Prepare to engage the enemy. We're not leaving until every Larian is safe. The Resolute surged forward, its weapon systems coming online. The first volley of plasma torpedoes streaked towards the nearest Karax ship, marking the beginning of a fierce and desperate battle. The humans had arrived, ready to show the galaxy what they were capable of. Reynolds knew the coming hours would test them all, but he also knew they had no choice but to fight. The fate of the Larians depended on their courage and resolve, and he was determined not to let them down. The battle for Lanaris. Engaging the enemy. As the HSS Resolute plunged into the heart of the Larian system, the extent of the devastation became clear. The once pristine planet was now a battlefield, its lush landscapes marred by craters and fires. The Karax fleet maintained a tight grip around the planet, their weapons constantly bombarding the surface. The Larians, known for their advanced bioengineering, but lacking a military force, were on the brink of annihilation. Contacting the Larian Council, Captain Jonathan Reynolds stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the tactical displays. "Open a channel to the Larian Council," he ordered. Ensign Lelo Morris quickly established a link. The screen flickered to life, revealing the face of High Chancellor Era, her pale blue skin and large, expressive eyes betraying the exhaustion and desperation she felt. "A plan of action. High Chancellor Era, this is Captain Jonathan Reynolds of the HSS Resolute. We received your distress call and are here to assist. How can we help?" Era's relief was palpable. "Captain Reynolds, we are eternally grateful. The Karax have been relentless. Our cities are in ruins, and countless lives have been lost. We need your protection to evacuate our people and drive the Karax away." The battle strategy. Reynolds nodded. "Understood. We're preparing to engage the Karax fleet and establish a safe corridor for evacuation. Stay strong, Chancellor. Help is here." The communication ended, and Reynolds turned to his crew. "All right, people. You heard the Chancellor. Our priority is to secure the planet and get as many Larians to safety as possible. Hunter, what's our status on weapons and shields?" Entering the fray, "All systems are green, Captain," Lieutenant Hunter replied. "Weapons are hot and shields are at full power. We're ready to give the Karax a fight they won't forget." Reynolds allowed himself a grim smile. "Good. Let's show them what happens when they threaten innocent lives. Engage the Karax fleet and protect those evacuation points." The heat of battle. The Resolute surged forward, its advanced weaponry blazing to life. Plasma torpedoes streaked through the void, slamming into the nearest Karax ships. The enemy responded in kind, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts. The battle was fierce and chaotic, the void of space lit up by the deadly dance of starships. The element of surprise. The Resolute's surprise attack caught the Karax off guard, allowing the humans to score several early victories. Karax ships exploded in fiery bursts, their sleek hulls no match for the devastating power of the Resolute's weapons. Despite the initial success, the Karax quickly regrouped, their superior numbers and ferocity coming into play. Holding the line, Captain Reynolds barked orders, his mind racing to stay one step ahead of the enemy. "Hunter, focus fire on their command ships. Patel, route power to the forward shields. We need to hold this line at all costs. Lieutenant Asha Patel's fingers flew over the console. Forward shields reinforced, Captain. We're holding, but we can't take this level of fire for long. Evacuation under fire. The Carracks retaliated with relentless precision, their energy weapons hammering the Resolute's shields. The ship shuddered with each impact, the crew gripping their stations to maintain balance. Despite the intensity of the battle, the humans fought with unwavering resolve. Guiding the evacuation. On the surface of Lanaris, the Lurians began their evacuation, guided by coordinates provided by the Resolute. They made their way to designated safe zones where shuttles from the Resolute were landing. The sight of the massive human starship in the sky, fighting to protect them, filled the Lurians with a mixture of hope and awe. Coordinating efforts. Commander Saw Vega coordinated the evacuation efforts from the Resolute's bridge. Shuttle teams prioritize the young, the elderly, and the injured. We need to get as many Lurians off the planet as possible. Keep those shuttles moving, people. Dr. Carter's medical efforts. In the medical bay, Dr. Emily Carter and her team prepared for the influx of injured Lurians. The sight of the first shuttle arriving with wounded civilians was a stark reminder of the stakes they were fighting for. Dr. Carter's calm and compassionate demeanor reassured the frightened Lurians as they received medical care. The turning point. As the battle raged on, Captain Reynolds knew they needed a decisive blow to turn the tide. Hunter, prepare the quantum torpedoes. Target their flagship. We need to cripple their command structure. Hunter's eyes widened. Aye, Captain. Targeting the flagship now. Torpedoes armed and ready. Striking the enemy flagship. Fire. Reynolds ordered, his voice cold and determined. The Resolute's quantum torpedoes streaked through the void, homing in on the Carrack's flagship. The impact was devastating, the flagship's shields collapsing under the onslaught. The massive ship was torn apart, its wreckage scattering into the void. The Carrack's retreat. The destruction of their flagship sent shockwaves through the Carrack's fleet. Without their command structure, the Carrack's ships faltered, their attacks losing coordination. Sensing an opportunity, the Resolute pressed the advantage, driving the Carrack's forces back. A moment of relief with the Carrack's in retreat, the crew of the Resolute allowed themselves a moment of relief. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but the battle was far from over. They still had to ensure the safe evacuation of the Lurians and deal with any lingering Carrack's forces. Regrouping and planning, Captain Reynolds stood on the bridge, surveying the aftermath of the battle. Good work, everyone. We've won the first round, but we need to stay vigilant. Vega, coordinate with the Lurian Council. Let's make sure the evacuation continues smoothly. Patel, assess the damage to our ship and get repair teams on it. As the crew set to work, Reynolds couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The Carracks were ruthless and would likely regroup for another assault. But for now, they had bought the Lurians some time and given them hope. And that, Reynolds knew, was worth fighting for. A new alliance. Assessing the situation. With the immediate threat from the Carracks neutralized, the crew of the HSS Resolute shifted their focus to the ongoing evacuation and the well-being of the Lurian survivors. Captain Jonathan Reynolds knew that this victory was only temporary. The Carracks would likely return, more determined than ever. The Lurian perspective. On the planet's surface, High Chancellor Era coordinated the evacuation efforts alongside Commander Saw Vega. The Lurian leader was deeply grateful for the human intervention. Your bravery and willingness to help us in our darkest hour will never be forgotten, she said, her voice filled with emotion. Building trust. Vega nodded, his expression serious. We're not just here to fight the Carracks. We want to help you rebuild and ensure your people are safe. But we need to know more about why the Carracks targeted you. Understanding their motives could be crucial in preventing further attacks. Sharing information. Era hesitated, then spoke. The Carracks covet our bioengineering technology. They believe it holds the key to enhancing their own biology and achieving even greater power. We have always used our knowledge for peaceful purposes, but they seek to weaponize it. A strategic plan. Vega's eyes narrowed. Then we need to ensure that technology doesn't fall into their hands. We'll help you secure your research facilities and relocate key scientists to safe locations. But we also need to prepare for the possibility of another Karax attack. The Human-Larian Alliance. Back on the Resolute, Captain Reynolds and his senior officers convened to discuss their next steps. Valerian's bioengineering technology is the key, Reynolds said. We need to protect it and ensure it doesn't get into Karax's hands. But we also need to find a way to make the Karax reconsider their aggression. Dr. Carter's proposal. Dr. Emily Carter, who had been tending to the injured Larians, spoke up. What if we could use the Larians' technology to develop a defense mechanism? Something that could deter the Karax without causing widespread destruction. Valerian's knowledge combined with our resources could make it possible. Collaboration and innovation. Reynolds considered the idea. It's a long shot, but it might just work. Patel, I want you to work with the Larian scientists and see what you can come up with. We need something that will make the Karax think twice about attacking again. A symbol of unity. As the days passed, the Resolute's crew and the Larians worked tirelessly. Engineers and scientists from both species collaborated, sharing knowledge and expertise. The bond between the two races grew stronger, united by a common goal. Unveiling the solution, after weeks of intense work, Lieutenant Asha Patel and the Larian scientists presented their creation, a bioengineered defense system capable of generating a powerful energy shield around key installations and even entire cities. The shield, powered by a combination of Larian bioenergy and human technology, was designed to be impenetrable to Karax weaponry. Testing the new technology, Captain Reynolds stood with High Chancellor Era and Lieutenant Patel as the first test of the new shield system was conducted. A remote Larian research facility, previously vulnerable to attack, was now protected by the shimmering energy barrier. A message to the Karax. It's time to send a message to the Karax, Reynolds said. They need to know that their actions have consequences. A communication was sent to the Karax High Command, showing footage of the new shield in action. The message was clear. The Larians were no longer defenseless, and any further aggression would be met with overwhelming resistance. Preparing for the next move, the Karax response was swift and predictable. Enraged by the humans' interference and the Larians' newfound strength, they began mobilizing for another assault. But this time, the Resolute and their Larian allies were ready. A united front. As the Karax fleet approached, Captain Reynolds stood on the bridge of the Resolute, ready to lead his crew into battle once more. We stand together, he said, addressing both his crew and the Larian Council. Today, we fight not just for survival, but for a future where all races can live in peace. Let's show the Karax what happens when we stand united. The battle that followed was fierce and brutal. The Karax, driven by their desire for conquest and revenge, threw everything they had at the humans and Larians. But the new shield technology held strong, and the combined might of the Resolute and the Larian defenses proved to be a formidable force. The tide turns. For the first time, the Karax found themselves on the defensive. Their ships, once the epitome of power and fear, were now being systematically dismantled by the united human-Larian forces. The tide had turned, and the Karax were forced to retreat, their fleet in disarray. A new era. The victory was celebrated by both humans and Larians, but Captain Reynolds knew that the true battle was for a lasting peace. We've shown that we can stand together and defend what's right, he said. Now we need to build on this alliance and ensure that the future is one of cooperation, not conflict. Moving forward, as the Resolute prepared to depart Lanaris, High Chancellor Era expressed her deepest gratitude. Your bravery and compassion have saved our people, she said. We will forever be in your debt, and we pledge to work with you to create a future where such violence and suffering are things of the past. The legacy of the battle. Captain Reynolds nodded. It's a new beginning, Chancellor. Together, we'll make sure that the galaxy knows what humanity and the Lurians stand for. As the Resolute jumped to hyperspace, heading back to Earth, the crew knew that they had not only forged a new alliance, but also set the stage for a future where peace and cooperation could flourish. And for Captain Reynolds, that was the greatest victory of all. Secrets unveiled. Returning to Earth, with the Carax retreating and the immediate threat to the Lurians neutralized, the HSS Resolute set course for Earth. The crew, though exhausted, felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had not only saved a peaceful race but also forged an alliance that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Debriefing and recognition. Upon their arrival, Captain Jonathan Reynolds and his senior officers were summoned to a high-level debriefing with the United Earth Federation's command. The council members listened intently as Reynolds recounted the events on Lanaris, the alliance with the Lurians, and the development of the new defense technology. Acknowledgement of heroism. Admiral Kira Thorne, a stern but fair leader, addressed the crew. Captain Reynolds, your actions have demonstrated the best of humanity. You and your crew have shown courage, ingenuity, and compassion. The Federation owes you a debt of gratitude. New challenges arise. Reynolds nodded, accepting the commendation. Thank you, Admiral. But we must remain vigilant. The Carax are unlikely to accept this defeat quietly. We need to be prepared for their next move. A mysterious transmission. As the meeting concluded, a priority transmission was received from a distant research outpost on the edge of US space. The message was cryptic, indicating the discovery of an ancient artifact with potentially significant implications for the ongoing conflict with the Carax. The artifact's importance. Dr. Emily Carter, always intrigued by new discoveries, immediately recognized the potential. If this artifact is what I think it is, it could hold the key to understanding the Carax motivations and perhaps even finding a way to negotiate a lasting peace. Assembling the team, Captain Reynolds agreed. We can't ignore this. Assemble a team, Dr. Carter. Vega, Patel, and Hunter, you're with us. We leave for the research outpost immediately. The journey to the outpost. The Resolute's journey to the remote outpost was uneventful, but the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something significant. The outpost itself was a small, isolated facility, staffed by a handful of scientists and researchers. The artifact revealed. Dr. Carter and her team were led to a secure chamber where the artifact was kept. It was an ancient, intricately designed device, pulsating with a faint, eerie glow. The lead researcher, Dr. Marcus Trent, explained its origins. We believe this artifact predates both the Lurians and the Carax. It might be from a civilization even older and more advanced than we can imagine. Analyzing the artifact, as the team began their analysis, it became clear that the artifact was more than just a relic. It contained vast amounts of data, encoded in a language and technology that was alien to both humans and Lurians. Dr. Carter's excitement grew. If we can decode this, it could provide insights into the galaxy's history and the Carax's true intentions. A dangerous revelation. Hours turned into days as the team worked tirelessly. Then a breakthrough. Dr. Patel managed to decipher part of the artifact's data. What they found was both astonishing and alarming. The artifact contained records of an ancient war, one that involved a race with technology and power far beyond anything currently known. The ancient war. Captain Reynolds, looking over the decoded data, felt a chill run down his spine. This war, it wasn't just a conflict. It was a cataclysm that nearly wiped out all life in the galaxy. The Carax are searching for this technology to avoid the same fate. A race against time, Dr. Carter added, and if they find it, they could use it to dominate the galaxy. We need to ensure this technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Preparing for the next mission, realizing the gravity of their discovery, Captain Reynolds and his team knew they had to act quickly. The Resolute would need to find and secure any remaining artifacts before the Carax could. but the journey ahead would be fraught with danger as the Carrax were likely on a similar path. Setting a course for the unknown, with a new mission clear, the Resolute set course for the next potential artifact location based on the decoded data. As they ventured into uncharted space, the crew was determined to uncover the secrets of the ancient civilization and prevent another cataclysmic war. The legacy of the ancients. The journey ahead would test their limits and forge new alliances. But Captain Reynolds and his crew were ready. They had faced the Carrax and emerged victorious. Now they would confront the shadows of the past to secure a future for all. A glimmer of hope. As the Resolute sped through the void, the crew held onto the hope that their discoveries could pave the way for a better, more peaceful galaxy. They had taken the first steps, and now, with courage and determination, they would continue their quest for understanding and unity. The hidden fortress. Uncharted territory. The HSS Resolute traveled deeper into uncharted space, guided by the decoded data from the ancient artifact. Captain Jonathan Reynolds and his crew were on a mission to uncover the secrets of the ancient civilization and prevent the Carrax from obtaining powerful technology that could tip the balance of power in the galaxy. A new destination. The data led them to a distant star system, one that had been overlooked by most explorers due to its remote location and lack of valuable resources. But the ancient records indicated that this system held a significant clue to the whereabouts of the remaining artifacts. The mysterious planet. As the Resolute approached the system, they detected a single habitable planet, shrouded in dense clouds and surrounded by strange energy readings. "This must be it," Dr. Emily Carter said, her eyes fixed on the planet. "The energy readings match those from the artifact. There's something down there." Preparing for descent, Captain Reynolds ordered a team to prepare for a surface mission. "Vega, Patel, Hunter, and Dr. Carter, you're with me. We're going down to the planet. Stay sharp. We don't know what we'll find." Touchdown on the surface. The shuttle descended through the thick atmosphere, emerging above a vast, lush jungle. The team landed in a clearing, their senses on high alert. The air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of alien wildlife filled the air. Discovering the fortress. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, they stumbled upon a hidden fortress, partially overgrown with vegetation, but unmistakably of ancient design. The structure was massive, with intricate carvings and symbols that matched those on the artifact. Entering the fortress, the team carefully made their way inside, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air was stale, and dust particles floated in the beams of light. "This place has been abandoned for centuries," Hunter observed, his voice echoing off the stone walls. Ancient technology. Dr. Carter examined the carvings and inscriptions, her excitement growing. "These symbols, they tell the story of the ancient war. This fortress was a refuge, a last stand for the survivors. There might be more artifacts here." A hidden chamber. Lieutenant Aisha Patel discovered a hidden passage leading to a chamber deep within the fortress. As they entered, they found a massive dormant device at the center, surrounded by consoles and control panels. The device was similar to the artifact they had found, but much larger and more complex. Activating the device. Captain Reynolds and Dr. Carter approached the device. "If we can activate this, it might provide us with more information," Reynolds said. Patel worked on the consoles, deciphering the ancient language and bypassing security protocols. A revelation. As the device powered up, it projected a holographic image of the ancient civilization's leaders. They spoke in a long-forgotten language, but the device translated their words. They warned of a great threat, a powerful entity that sought to consume all life in the galaxy. The ancient war was fought to contain this entity, but the cost was immense. The true enemy. Dr. Carter's eyes widened in realization. The Carrax aren't the true enemy. They're searching for this technology to protect themselves from the same threat. If this entity still exists, it could mean the end for all of us. A race against time. Captain Reynolds felt the weight of their discovery. We need to find the other artifacts and unlock their secrets. If the Carracks are after them too, we have to stay one step ahead. This isn't just about us anymore. It's about the survival of the entire galaxy. Returning to the Resolute, the team returned to the Resolute with their newfound knowledge and the activated device. The crew worked to integrate the data into their systems, hoping to uncover the locations of the remaining artifacts. A new mission. Captain Reynolds addressed the crew. We've discovered a threat greater than the Carracks, an ancient entity that could destroy everything. Our mission is clear. We must find the remaining artifacts and stop this entity from rising again. The fate of the galaxy depends on us. The journey continues. With renewed determination, the Resolute set a course for the next artifact location. The crew knew the journey would be perilous, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had already proven their courage and ingenuity, and now they would need every ounce of it to save the galaxy from an ancient evil. A united front. As the Resolute sped through the void, the crew held onto the hope that their discoveries could pave the way for a better, more peaceful galaxy. They had taken the first steps, and now, with courage and determination, they would continue their quest for understanding and unity. The final stand. Uncovering the final artifact. The journey to find the remaining artifacts led the HSS Resolute and its crew to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding the ancient civilization's technology and the threat they faced. With only one artifact left to find, tensions were high. A desperate search. Captain Jonathan Reynolds and his team scoured the galaxy, following the clues left behind by the ancient race. The final artifact was said to be the key to unlocking the full power of the defense technology, a weapon capable of stopping the ancient entity. The last clue. Dr. Emily Carter, working tirelessly, finally found the last clue in the data they had gathered. The final artifact is located in a nebula at the edge of the galaxy. It's heavily shielded, and getting to it won't be easy. Into the nebula. The Resolute navigated the dense, turbulent nebula, its sensors barely able to penetrate the thick clouds of gas and dust. The crew worked together, relying on their skills and instincts to avoid the dangers lurking within. The hidden temple. Deep within the nebula, they discovered a hidden temple, a massive structure built into an asteroid. The temple was ancient, its surface covered in intricate carvings and symbols that matched those of the previous artifacts. The final artifact. As they entered the temple, the team found the final artifact, a large crystalline device pulsating with energy. Dr. Carter and Lieutenant Patel worked quickly to activate it, their hands moving deftly over the ancient controls. An ominous warning. The artifact activated, projecting a holographic image of the ancient civilization's leaders. Their message was clear. The ancient entity, known as the Devourer, was awakening. The artifacts were designed to create a weapon capable of stopping it, but only if they were brought together. A race against time. Captain Reynolds knew they had no time to waste. We need to get all the artifacts back to Lanaris. The Larian technology, combined with our own, can activate the weapon. It's our only chance. The Carracks' interference. As they prepared to leave, the Carracks' fleet emerged from the nebula, blocking their escape. The Carracks, having tracked the Resolute's movements, were determined to seize the artifacts for themselves. A fierce battle. The Resolute's crew braced for battle, knowing that this fight would determine the fate of the galaxy. The Carracks' ships, larger and more powerful, closed in, their weapons blazing. But the Resolute's crew was ready, their resolve unshakable. Uniting forces. As the battle raged, a surprising development occurred. A Larian fleet, having received a distress signal from the Resolute, arrived to join the fight. The united human-Larian forces fought side by side, their combined strength turning the tide against the Carracks. The final push, with the Carracks fleet in retreat, the Resolute and the Larian ships made their way back to Lanaris. The crew worked tirelessly to integrate the final artifact into the defense system, knowing that the Devourer was drawing closer with each passing moment. The ultimate weapon. As the system powered up, the artifacts combined to create a massive energy shield, capable of enveloping entire planets. The shield, powered by the ancient technology, was their last line of defense against the Devourer. A moment of triumph. Captain Reynolds stood on the bridge, watching as the shield activated, its energy shimmering around Lanaris. "We've done it," he said, his voice filled with relief. "We've created a shield that can protect us from the Devourer." The Devourer's arrival. The victory was short-lived as the Devourer, a colossal entity of unimaginable power, emerged from the depths of space. Its presence was overwhelming, a dark shadow that blotted out the stars. The final stand. The Resolute and the Larian fleet stood ready, their weapons aimed at the Devourer. Captain Reynolds knew that this battle would determine the fate of the galaxy. "All ships, focus your fire on the Devourer. We have to hold the line." A desperate battle. The battle was intense, the Devourer's power almost overwhelming. But the combined might of the Human-Larian alliance, bolstered by the ancient technology, held strong. The shield absorbed the Devourer's attacks, giving the fleet a chance to strike back. A sacrifice for victory. In the heat of battle, Lieutenant Patel realized that the only way to defeat the Devourer was to overload the shield's power core, creating a massive energy surge. "Captain, if we overload the core, it could destroy the Devourer. But it'll also take out the Resolute." A difficult decision. Captain Reynolds faced the hardest decision of his life: sacrifice the ship and crew to save the galaxy. "Do it," he ordered. "Overload the core. We'll give everything we have to stop the Devourer." The final sacrifice. As the core overloaded, the Resolute's crew prepared for the end. The ship's energy surged, creating a blinding light that enveloped the Devourer. The entity's screams echoed through space as it was consumed by the energy. A new dawn. The sacrifice of the Resolute and its crew saved the galaxy from the Devourer. The Larian fleet, now the protectors of the artifacts, vowed to honor the memory of their fallen allies and ensure that the ancient technology would be used for peace. A legacy of unity. Captain Jonathan Reynolds and his crew became legends, their bravery and sacrifice remembered for generations. The alliance between humans and Larians ushered in a new era of cooperation and understanding, a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had faced its darkest hour. The journey continues. As the galaxy healed from the wounds of war, the legacy of the Resolute lived on. New generations of explorers and defenders took to the stars, inspired by the courage and unity of those who had come before. The journey continued with hope and determination guiding the way forward. The aftermath and new horizons. The galaxy heals. The battle against the Devourer had left scars across the galaxy, but it also united its inhabitants in a way never seen before. The Human and Larian alliance became a symbol of hope and cooperation. The ruins of war gave way to reconstruction efforts, with planets banding together to rebuild and strengthen their defenses. Honoring the fallen. A grand memorial was erected on Lanaris, honoring Captain Jonathan Reynolds, Lieutenant Asha Patel, Dr. Emily Carter, and the entire crew of the HSS Resolute. The names of the brave souls who sacrificed themselves to save the galaxy were etched into a towering monument, a reminder of their heroism. New leadership. With the loss of Captain Reynolds, leadership fell to Commander Vega, who was deeply inspired by the captain's sacrifice. Under her guidance, the United Human-Larian fleet continued to protect the galaxy from any emerging threats. The newly formed Galactic Council, consisting of representatives from various species, worked to ensure lasting peace and prosperity. Scientific advancements. Dr. Emily Carter's legacy lived on through the scientific community, which continued to study the ancient artifacts. The technology unlocked from these relics led to unprecedented advancements in energy, medicine, and space travel. The knowledge gained from the ancient civilization was used to improve lives and explore new frontiers. A message of unity. The story of the Resolute and its crews spread far and wide, becoming a powerful message of unity and resilience. schools taught the tale of the battle against the Devourer, instilling in young minds the values of courage, cooperation, and sacrifice. Exploring new worlds. The defeat of the Devourer opened up new opportunities for exploration. With the ancient threat neutralized, the galaxy's inhabitants felt a renewed sense of curiosity and adventure. New expeditions were launched to chart unexplored regions, discovering new planets and forging new alliances. A new mission. Commander Vega led a new mission aboard a state-of-the-art starship, the HSS Legacy. This mission aimed to uncover more about the ancient civilization that had created the artifacts and to ensure that no remnants of the Devourer remained. The crew of the Legacy was composed of the best and brightest from across the galaxy, united by a common goal: bridging cultures. The Human-Larian Alliance served as a model for other species, fostering a spirit of collaboration. Cultural exchanges flourished, with humans and Larians sharing their art, music, and traditions. This blending of cultures enriched the galaxy, creating a tapestry of diversity and mutual respect. A glimpse into the past. During one of their expeditions, the crew of the Legacy discovered an ancient library on a distant planet. The library contained vast archives of knowledge from the ancient civilization, including records of their history, philosophy, and technology. This discovery provided invaluable insights and further strengthened the bond between the galaxy's inhabitants. Preparing for the future. As the galaxy looked to the future, preparations were made to ensure that it would never face such a dire threat again. Defense systems were upgraded, and a network of communication and surveillance was established to detect any potential dangers. The Galactic Council implemented policies to promote peace and prevent conflicts from escalating. A legacy of hope. The legacy of the Resolute and its crew became a guiding light for future generations. Their bravery and sacrifice taught the galaxy the importance of standing together in the face of adversity. The story of their final stand against the Devourer was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of unity. The journey continues. As the HSS Legacy ventured into the unknown, its crew carried with them the spirit of the Resolute. They were explorers, protectors, and ambassadors of peace, driven by a shared purpose. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but with each new discovery, they were reminded that the journey was just beginning. A new era. The galaxy entered a new era of exploration and enlightenment, where the lessons of the past guided the path forward. The sacrifices of the Resolute's crew ensured a future where cooperation and understanding prevailed. And as the stars beckoned, the galaxy embraced its destiny, united and ready for whatever lay ahead.